Hello, this is Namtro with Namtro Gaming. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. We're going to be going over the Talisman 2.1 tree changes and what they've done to the tree. It seems like a lot of the changes they've done have been in the shadow. The shadow, they've added a bunch of like physical percent chaos damage nodes. They've added, they moved a bunch of the nodes around, like the entropy node that used to be up here. They also got rid of the crit right here and put it right here. There's now less of it, and they've kind of split it between the two sides, so that's kind of an offset. But you know, a lot of times you didn't get the whole ring. Like there's a lot of people who only went to this implicit and then that's all they get, like, which is, so it's kind of neat that they did this. Overall it's probably pretty good because a lot of times you got enough crit elsewhere that you didn't need all the 20% crits. So it's kind of neat that they split it up a little bit and put it instead of other value nodes as well. So that's pretty good. Otherwise, they also moved this node up here, which Growth and Decay used to be around down here. So it's kind of neat to see that it moved up here. The Chaos Damage ring that used to be up here, I believe, moved down here. No, this used to be here too, but they buffed the resist that you got from it, which is neat, because with this ring, and then on top of being able to get chaos damage here, which this ring's kind of nice too, it gives you chaos resist and chaos spell cast speed, which is neat. And then if you get this on top of it, you already have 40% chaos resist without doing anything, which is insane. You could get another like this right here, so for you'd have 52% chaos resist, and that's without really doing anything. So it's kind of neat to see that they did that with the tree. Otherwise, they kind of moved some things with the ranger coming out of the tree down here. They made less nodes that are right here after you get out of the initial area, and there's less shield nodes, but the shield nodes still give a decent amount of defense. And then there's also the dual wield way that you can go, which improves your dual wielding. They buffed Heart of Oak, sort of. I mean, it's between 3 nodes now, getting all your stun avoidance. It used to be 30% for 1 point right here, but you had to go through one of these like poo-poo nodes. But now the poo-poo nodes have 8% stun avoidance, both of them do, and 2% movement speed. On top of this node having the stun recovery that they both had, and then still the 1% recovery and 8% life. And so if you get all 3, now you have 6% extra stun avoidance on top of it. So they're trying to incentivize getting all 3, which is kind of neat. And on top of that, you get 4% movement speed. They also got rid of the attack speed right here, which is interesting. You're going to be able to do very competitive ranger strats with this, because right away you're able to get so much damage, which is insane. There's just so much damage right here. 81% projectile damage just with these nodes, on top of 32% physical attack damage, on top of 56% increased bow damage. Like, leveling with bows is going to be a lot easier now. And then on top of that, they're buffing bows initial damage and making it so you don't need quivers right away. And they're just increasing the level that you get a quiver. So overall, leveling as a bow character is going to become easier, which is nice, as far as if you're a ranger. Otherwise, they added a lot of bleeding nodes too, which is interesting. They might not have been really that new. They've always kind of had this node over here, and then there was another 8%, but now they're adding more bleeding nodes. There's this one, 8% chance to cause bleeding, and then bloodletting, 30% increased physical damage over time, and 25% increased attack speed. Or no, 25% increased attack damage, sorry, against bleeding enemies, which is interesting. And then you come over here, another 8% bleed with more overtime damage. So, I mean, it's interesting that they're pushing bleed a little bit more and making it so you can use the bleed support gem a little more effectively. So that's neat to see. So you can get other builds other than puncture using those gems. Otherwise, it's really hard to get the health that you need through this right side of the tree without going to the Scion Wheel. I've managed to sort of kind of do it, and you'd have to pull it off with jewels. And it involves dipping into the duelist pretty heavily. But, you know, if you really want to just get your percent life, you just basically need to come to the Scion Wheel. Which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. These nodes were buffed quite considerably too, so it was really interesting to see that. There wasn't really anything that I didn't really, you know. I am upset that my baby Profane Chemistry got nerfed, but this was a while back. It was like during one of the other leagues that this happened. I love Profane Chemistry and Herbalism, but now it used to be about 95% with just the two, but now with just the two, it's only a 70% increase of life recovery from flasks. And now, if you come over here and get this, now you can get your 90%, which back in the day you could get all three, and you'd have over 100% flask recovery from flasks. And if you use that with a seething, it was insane. Other than that, hybrid defenses seem like they can still kind of be a thing, but hybrid defenses overall, I feel like, are a little harder to pull off than they used to be. I mean, you can stack like all those defenses, but if you do, I feel like you're missing out a little bit on damage. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, they still have all the shield nodes and whatnot, so I think it's still worth doing. I know it's a lot harder to get block capped, and if you want to get block capped, you really have to invest a lot of points. But block is still super good without getting block capped, especially if you're combining evasion with it. Like, block is still more than fine without going capped with it. Otherwise, the other ideas I was thinking about too, because since they're increasing mana, how much mana you're getting per level, is investing a little bit into mana nodes and then going mind over matter without going to Eldritch Battery, and then just not like going super heavy on auras. Just get some reservation nodes and then have like only a aura and a herald going, and then while you're doing that, cast your spell and see how that works. We'll see how. It really depends on how much mana per level they're increasing mana by. It might be decent enough that it might actually work out, but if not, oh well. Otherwise, nothing that I feel is super notable. Revenge of the Hunted still sucks balls, so there's that. This wheel is still like, why is it here? You know, there's still a bunch of very questionable rings that are like, I could do without that. Oh, that was the other change too. These right here. The Mana Leech as attack damage. So this doesn't care if you are elemental damage dealers. So now you can get your Mana Leech and your Life Leech if you're an elemental damage dealer. Easy from going there and going here. This basically got the old Revelry on top of that, which I don't know. Revelry still has +2 mana gain on attack, so now it's possible on the tree to get 4 mana gained on attack for every enemy hit. So that's pretty insane. Of course, it's a lot of points invested to do that, but you know, you wanted to make your spells super cheap, you can. And then with the introduction with jewels from Awakening, there's just so many different things you can pull off with the tree still. Overall, I feel like it has been a pretty decent change. They did nerf a couple of the scions, like the life regenerate here, they nerfed a little bit, which is, you know, a little interesting to see, considering a lot of people were going scion mainly because they nerfed health on the right side of the tree, so much so that the scion, it's just super efficient to go here because you're already at the scion life wheel. So otherwise, I'm still going to be trying to pull off ranger builds, shadow builds, witch builds. That's usually what I like playing. I tend to, yeah, I'll make a Templar here and there, but usually I stay away from this area of the tree. I made a couple builds, and I'm going to probably keep making some builds. And it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out in the end. I'm going to also make another video about my Contagion spec if you're interested in that and going over that. Otherwise, you guys stay classy, stay sweet, and I'll catch you another time. Thank you for watching.